It was life-changing.
One of the best decisions I've made my freshman year.
You get to put names and faces to this conflict. It just shook up pretty much everything I think about foreign conflict and international relations.
I tend to be more of a shy person, so it's helped me engage people and speak up for myself.
I didn't think I fully understood how much it really would change me.
Changed my way of thinking.
This program has given me a lot of tools being able to gather information effectively, because in the era of fake news, there's just so much information out there that it's hard to process all of it. So Avi really taught us how to evaluate sources and to make sure that the information you're getting is not only reliable, but accurate and relevant to what you're doing. Second related tool is being able to analyze that data. So take what's really important to the issue and then turn that into a prediction.
It also helped me with my research skills. I've gotten a lot more comfortable with picking a topic that I don't necessarily have a lot of experience with and being able to feel comfortable presenting it.
Public speaking in general, we did presentations throughout the program, and so it really aids in preparing you to present in real life, which you'll probably have to do in whatever job or field you go into.
Critical analysis and critical thinking can help ultimately any decision in life.
I think that the tools, again, like just working around bias and everything, the tools to not be biased. So really to just look around and realize that there are so many other perspectives and that you can't just look at one side of the story.
Not just look outward, but also look inward, the position that you're from, to be critical about everything, even your own assumptions and beliefs, and that's to challenge yourself.
Avi challenged us to look into things that aren't necessarily like right there, blatantly obvious.
This program provides you with understand the region in a more nuanced way.
Look at things through a critical lens.
The most practical thing that I learned is really with processing information from the media.
Now I look at the media in a different way and I'm always questioning it. It really showed how little Western news sources really show.
The news likes to paint things as white and black. This person did this because they hate them.
It's not just black and white, you're just like, there are like so many shades of gray.
Just keeping yourself up to date is one of the things that it really drove home, because things can change instantly. Keep expanding what you know, but not being content with just this little box of information, but looking what is beyond the box.
Look into sources that I wouldn't necessarily look into, and as Avi said, you know, we can't use any Western sources. That was really great to realize that there's more out there than just like New York Times and just books written by American authors.
I think that's really helped in creating kind of a library of information.
I find myself not so consciously thinking, this is how Avi taught me to analyze a source, this is how Avi taught me to think about intelligence, but really subconsciously evaluating information, whether that's a text message that I get from a couple of friends that don't make sense, or whether that's a news story that I'm reading or an email from a professor. And it's this constant process of really thinking about where the information is coming from, who is sending it, why they might be sending it.
Being able to like learn that really make me a more critical information receiver.
I think the cool thing about this program is that you take those skills with you and incorporate them into your daily life in a way that it becomes a completely subconscious process.
One of the highlights was being able to craft my own project. Turkish issues have always been really important to me, and I did a critical language scholarship in Turkey. So through this program and through the intelligence report we did, I was able to focus on that and get a far deeper understanding of the issue than I ever could have in just a broader Middle Eastern discussion.
My IR's title was looking at what will happen in Mosul when ISIS is eliminated. Talking to Avi or talking to other experts, it was very interesting because a lot of their views started lining up with mine, and that was exciting.
Avi was really encouraging us to choose any topic, so I was able to do a report on Palestinian hip-hop music because I'm interested in arts and music.
Some of my highlights on this trip have definitely been the experiential learning. I had never really been involved with experiential learning before the Eisenhower Institute, and I thought of it mainly as kind of a buzzword. I really didn't think that it was going to be as impactful as it was.
All these different narratives coming from different directions, and it's culminating in this huge and rich narrative that just really can't be explained until you come here and speak to people.
You can't get that when you pull up a Washington Post or an Atlantic article and start reading about the Syrian civil war.
Avi always says to us, I never really understood it. He would say it during our sessions at school that there's a complex reality on the ground. And it always just didn't really seem that confusing until you got here and see that it's so much more complex than what you just read on paper.
Going to the Golan Heights and going to just next to Lebanon, you could see it with your own eyes. So now whenever I think of the Syrian conflict, I'll kind of look from the Golan Heights, or when I see the conflict that's under the surface in Lebanon between Hezbollah and the government, I'll kind of imagine, look, that not everything will look as you expect it to be.
I'm part Middle Eastern, I have Lebanese blood. My favorite aspect of the trip is just learning, all the learning I've been able to do, whether it's the formal learning about the history or from the 4 Israeli students that have been with us, Hagar, Yuval, Ben, and Dina.
In this trip, like, we have 4 Israeli students like with us. All of them have served in the military intelligence. Was really personally meaningful for me because it's really special always for me to like be able to connect to these people, and that itself is just a good learning experience.
Coming here and meeting Israeli students who were on our trip and then Palestinians when we were in Ramallah really helped put everything in perspective, because each of those faces gets a name once you're here, and that makes the issue a lot more personal as opposed to abstract.
Definitely gained like a new perspective on what it's like to grow up and what it's like to live here and all of the different issues that they have to focus on. It also has helped me grow as a person and realize that, you know, as hard as my problems might be, there are people who have a lot worse problems that aren't being talked about. It's definitely worth everyone to once in their life come and have this opportunity to discuss things that aren't talked about.
I would tell anyone considering to do this course, 100% do it. They will not regret it.
You will learn more than you ever expected to learn.
And that it's not the complex as we know it and as is portrayed in the media, that you have to look deeper.
This program is fantastic because it doesn't just teach about politics, it doesn't just teach about conflict, it teaches about the history of the region, the culture of the region, how this region was shaped through the centuries, and the intersectionality of all of those.
Definitely do it.
Absolutely do it. Oh my goodness.
If it's something you want to do in the future, you definitely should do it. Anything to do with intelligence like CIA, NSA, or working for governments or NGOs, this is something you need to do.
It really takes you out of the whole Gettysburg bubble and brings us into the global community.
I would definitely recommend anyone who is thinking about this program to definitely go for it.
This course actually changed the trajectory of my academic career, and I really do direct all of that credit back to Inside the Middle East and back to Avi specifically.